Hey everybody, it's as promised. I am in Cabo San Lucas. My video is not that great, Terry, but I'm trying to do the best I can. I like being in my office when we shoot this, but this is Money Matters episode 9, and Money Matters every week, every day. So come rain or shine or come Cabo San Lucas, we record. And Monty, thanks for joining us. I know you were out of town last week, but how are you today, Monty?
Doing great. Back from Colorado in the nice cool weather to Texas in the extreme heat.
And Terry, I understand that you had a few days of your air conditioner was out, so it's got to be a little bit warm there. But it doesn't matter. We still do Money Matters no matter what, even if there's no AC, right, Terry?
Yeah, July in Florida is kind of the wrong time to have your AC go out. Mine's been out for 11 days because of the 4th of July holiday. My AC guy went on vacation, and I was like, well, okay, so you'll be here first thing on Monday, and I never heard from him. So it might be day 12 tomorrow. I grew up in Florida without air conditioning. What's another day without air conditioning? It's not the best, but we make do.
That's right. And Monty, I got to tell you, yesterday I was watching some videos, and I really try and stay in tune with the Las Vegas real estate market. That's a full-time job for sure, as you know. But I saw that there's some really interesting things coming out this week, and it seems like week after week, the more I get more in tune with what you're talking about, Monty, there's just always information. There's always things that are happening. So I was watching a video. It said there's some big reports coming out this week. What's going on, Monty?
Yeah, well, we'll kind of go in reverse order then. And I'll tell you that on Thursday, we're going to get the June inflation data. That's Consumer Price Index of CPI. That's what people are talking about. That's going to come out. Then the Producer Price Index, which measures wholesale inflation, that's coming on Friday. So you got Thursday, Friday, big hit. Weekly jobless claims are also going to be important given what we're going to talk about today. And so we're watching all of that this week. It should be a week of fireworks, even though last week was July the 4th.
And you know what? For our listening audience, it's really cool because Monty and I get together often. And Monty, I know you travel a lot, but Monty, you're coming to my hometown this Thursday, and we're going to another webinar, a really cool. I'm excited. I love working with you. It's just been great. And having your friendship and being a business partner of ours has been amazing. Can't wait to see you Thursday. So let's dive in. Where do you want to start with these reports, and what does it mean to our members in leaving California?
Yeah, great question. Well, there's some good news, and yes, I'm looking forward to being out in Vegas for the event Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That should be really good. What we saw last week is that there are more signs that the labor sector is softening as that job growth eased in June, and we saw an uptick in the unemployment rate. Those triggered a really important recession indicator. So again, recession indicator. We're going to talk about that today. Also, we saw that home prices continue to rise nationwide. So those are the big headlines. It's good news for this week.
And what about you, Terry? What do you want? What are you excited to hear about?
Well, I'm excited to hear Monty's thoughts on employment, especially those numbers. But here's one thing I wanted to bring up. Gavin Newsom was touting that California added over 200,000 jobs recently. But what he didn't say was that 350,000 jobs were added in the government sector, and private sector lost well over 100,000 jobs, I think closer to 150,000 jobs. So Newsom comes out and touts, hey, we added 200,000 jobs in California. Yeah, 350,000 of those jobs were government-related jobs, while the private sector is declining. We know that this minimum wage, $20 minimum wage for fast food workers is destroying the fast food industry in California, which is, by the way, I just want to say this. This is why I left California. I knew that stuff like this destroys it. The Seattle market was destroyed when they passed a much higher minimum wage in their market, and yet it destroyed jobs by the tens of thousands. So California says, hey, that's nothing. Watch this. How about $20 for a minimum wage for our fast food workers? And so fast food restaurants are shutting down left and right. People are getting laid off left and right. Just another market force in action that people like me, some guy who just works as a self-employed guy, knows that when you raise the minimum wage significantly, you are destroying people's lives because you're destroying jobs by the thousands.
Well,
Yeah,
you know,
true.
Monty, that is an interesting thing. And Terry, thanks for sharing. Terry is he is our go-to person when it comes to topics in California. And that was something that I had thought about a couple times. When we talk about leaving California and welcome to America, and Monty, each week, and this is episode 9, every week when we talk about this, does California kind of fall into place with all of the facts and statistics that you say, or is California its own? Are they on their own and things are different in California? So while you're in California, the landscape may be a little different, but once you leave and welcome to America, can you touch on that, Monty?
Yeah, I do think California marches to the beat of their own drum, for sure. Everybody knows it. The statistics we give every week are nationwide. So they do include California, but it's also including 49 other states. So for the most part, I would say it's indicative of what you're seeing in other places and not so much California. We all know you need to leave California to experience true life and the benefit of having a home that you can actually afford in an area that is thriving. So the first thing I wanted to talk about today was the BLS report that came out last week. That's the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That reported that there were 206,000 jobs created in June. That's only a little bit above the 200,000 new jobs that they estimated. So that's not the headline. What the headline is that there were really big revisions, negative revisions for April and May that took away 111,000 jobs from those months combined. So that means that the unemployment rate rose from 4.0 to 4.1%. So that headline job growth figure beat the estimates, yes, but future revisions are lower. Being lower is a real possibility, given that we continue to see this pattern happen on the BLS. We get great numbers, and then next month they'll go back and make all their changes and be like, so it wasn't 206, it was actually 105. And so that would have been drastically different. So in the rearview mirror, you see a very different picture. Okay, same as when you leave California and you look in that rearview mirror, California looks different when you're leaving it than when you're living in it. So it's important to look at both of these surveys within the jobs report because they're telling two different stories. Terry's right that what we're seeing in minimum wage and just the impact that is having, it sounds so good in theory, but in practice, it really hurts. So again, I want to state that unemployment rate rose from 4.0 to 4.1, and that's the highest level since November of 2021. So nearly the highest rate in 3 years. That increase has triggered something called the SAME rule. That's SAHM, the SAME rule. That pretends that a recession will be coming with high degree of certainty when that rule is triggered. It's named for a former Fed economist, Claudia Same. That indicator is when we see a 3-month moving average of the unemployment rate rise by 0.5% or more relative to its low during the previous 12 months. So we are now seeing that has been triggered. So that's a big deal. These things that we've been saying, hey, it's coming, don't worry, it's here, it is coming. Now, it's also important to note that they don't call a recession before it happens, they call it retroactively. We only know we're in a recession. We don't ever say a recession is starting right now. So that's interesting. The other thing on the job side is the ADP employment report. It showed that private payrolls, this is kind of to Terry's point, that those rose less than expected in June. Employers only added 150,000 new jobs versus what they thought was going to be 160,000 jobs. And that marks the 3rd straight month that job creation has slowed among these private employers. Nearly all the gains are coming from service providing sectors. That's 136,000, with goods producers only adding 14,000 of those jobs due to a slowdown in manufacturing and mining. So these are big changes. Those job openings in April and May were also at the lowest level since February of 2021, so more than 3 years, and they're now well below the high of 12 million hit in 2022. So it's happening.
Yeah. You know, I was watching another video, and I apologize for watching so many videos, but you know, that with social media, I mean, we're always in tune to this, but one of the things that they were talking about is how a lot of lenders had said, you know, go ahead and buy a house now and then you can refinance. Well, now they're starting to come out and say, well, you know, all the lenders said you could buy now and then you can refinance later when the rates come down. Well, the rates aren't coming down. And so they're saying, well, maybe we made a mistake, but I still think with the appreciation and the housing prices going up, maybe you could just address that for our members out there, because I know they want to hear about facts and things that really pertain to them. But so a lot of our clients were told, go ahead and buy a house now and you can refinance later. Well, the rates haven't come down, but appreciation's going up. Can you address that for our clients?
Absolutely. You just gave me an idea too, David. On one of these future episodes, we really should do a sample case of buying now with higher interest rates versus waiting until the rates go down. I've got a great tool that we could screen share and show that. And I'm also happy to do that with anybody individually. So if they're debating, I can run that tool and send them a screenshot of their very situation. What it tells you at the end of it every time is that appreciation far outweighs interest rate. We tend to say, well, I'm gonna wait till the rates go down because I'll get a better payment. That is true if all things were equal, but things aren't equal when houses continue to appreciate. So you've set me up perfectly, because CoreLogic's home price index, we got that last week, that showed that home prices have risen nationwide 0.6% in May after rising 1.1% in April and 1.2% in March. So that's showing that it's been the strongest season for home values nationwide. Prices are also 4.9% higher than they were compared to last May. So if you take year over year, we're up 4.9% from where we were last year. So you are an easy 5% better off in what you have now if you bought last year, even if you thought you could refinance by now. The difference in the interest rate is not 5% of the value of your home. So this latest rise in home prices reported by CoreLogic and ICE, ICE used to be called Black Knight. So if you've ever heard of Black Knight, that's the same thing. Those both echo that strong growth that we've seen in other major indices like Case-Shiller or the FHFA. Both of those said the same thing. All these reports continue to demonstrate why home ownership remains a good opportunity for building wealth. So couldn't agree with you more, David. That's what really matters at the end of the day. And rates are going to go down. We're already seeing it. So
yeah, I would love to do that project. That would be a lot of fun. And I think at the end of the day, what I'm really saying, and what Terry says, what all three of us say, is there's no such thing as timing the market perfect. No. You could go to Vegas, I guess, and you could play roulette, and if the ball lands on the right number, you might get lucky. But we're not really talking about luck every week. We're not talking about luck, correct?
No, that's why we give all these statistics and numbers, and we tell you where the report came from. Like, you could go Google it. You can look it up. We're only reporting it and encouraging people to make a great decision.
Right. And Terry, as we're coming to close episode 9 from Cabo San Lucas, what else did you want to add to all of our members from leaving California?
Well, just something else to consider that might put some urgency under in people's minds. The State Farm came out recently and said that they need a 30% increase in home insurance in California. And if they don't get that 30% increase, and by the way, this is on top of another huge increase from last year. If they don't get that 30% increase, they're going to have to leave the state and no longer insure there. So what's happening is, because of the wildfires that continue to happen year after year, and don't get me started on why the wildfires are happening. It's not what the governor says. I'm just telling you it's not. But if home insurance rates continue to go up to where you're paying thousands of dollars more each year, people are not going to be able to continue to afford that. They're going to say, we got to sell. Well, if you're a home buyer in California and you've got to pay, I know when I lived in California, my homeowner's insurance rate the last year I was there was $2,000. I suspect it's getting close to $8,000 to $10,000 for that same home right now. Who's gotten a raise to justify that? But my point of that is that right now we have home buyers in California, people who will buy your home. My concern is that the economy is going to go south, and people are going to say, hey, I don't care how much your home is worth in California, I'm not buying it. And so the market's going to start going down there. If you're considering leaving, now is a great time because houses are still selling in California, now is a great time to sell that home. And another concern I have, just to add to that, is that we're finding that people are, hang on, I get my thought here. People are seeing that inflation is not necessarily slowing down yet. As Monty described, every month they come out and say, oh, sorry, we didn't have 200,000 jobs added. We only had 100,000 or 150,000. So the economy is definitely slowing down, but if inflation is not slowing down, we're going right back to the Gerald Ford days. I remember the Gerald Ford days. I'm old enough, where you've got inflation with a declining economy. So prices continue to go up while people are losing their jobs and everything else. That's not a optimal situation to be in by any means. And California, that's going to be magnified because the cost of everything is significantly higher in California. If you're considering leaving, now is still a good time to go find a house that's affordable in another state, and do it before things go sideways in California even further than they already have.
Well, as we say every week, week after week, we have professionals, we have a network of people that deal with this on a daily basis. And our consultations are free, and we can give you the information that you need to make a really well-educated decision. Monty is available, his team's available, and if you really want to find out more and you're really serious about leaving California, you should get with our network, get with us. We'd love to talk to you more. So please give us a call, send us a message. We look forward to seeing you again. Again, this is episode 9 of Money Matters. I'll see you this week in Las Vegas, Monty. And Terry, you got to come out to Vegas. Maybe we get you an air conditioning out in Las Vegas. Have a nice cool day out there somewhere.
I'm getting used to no air conditioning. I'm going to take you up on that. Oh, there goes my light.
All right, everybody. Have a great week. We'll talk to you later.
See you.
Take care. Bye-bye.